Hello, I'm Tatiana Indina. I'm a CEO and founder of Mission to Mars Academy, a global accelerator based in Silicon Valley that has a mission to inspire all entrepreneurs about tech innovation and share with them best practices and insights from Silicon Valley. We are here to support your growth, help you build a successful company, and scale it globally. We connect entrepreneurs just like you with top expertise and resources from Silicon Valley to help your company accelerate and become the next unicorn. You can go to our website, www.missiontomars.academy, to learn more about what we do and all the exciting events and innovation workshops and services for startups and entrepreneurs that we provide. I invite you all to join us here in Silicon Valley and online. And today I prepared this very special presentation for you on how to hack Silicon Valley and get all the resources you need to build a successful global company and become the next Google, Tesla, Amazon, or Uber. And you are about to do it. First, I want you to imagine that everything is possible. I want you to imagine your wildest, craziest dream about who you want to become and what you want your company to be. And I want you to imagine it in all the details. I want to imagine your business, your product. I want to imagine your success. I want you to imagine how it would make you feel. I want you to imagine that impact that's going to create for the world with your company. And I want you to imagine yourself in the future. Just remember this feeling. We're going to need it later. Today, I will give you tools that will help you unlock your true potential, to build your better future, to build your dream company, to become the next big thing, the next big sensation, the next game changer. You will learn how to build a global startup in Silicon Valley way, how to raise funding, how to scale and grow, how to get access to the best resources of Silicon Valley, and how to rocket start your business. Today, I will share with you the best Silicon Valley hacks on how to build a successful global company that will become the next big thing without much stress and trouble. You will get a shortcut on how to launch your startup, to raise funding for your company without taking a hard journey of the founder and sacrificing a lot of your time, money, and effort, and without compromising on your dreams. Now, guys, I want you to stay with me till the very end. And if you stay with me till the very end of this webinar, you will get a very special present from me. You will get a pitch deck template that you can use to prepare your investor presentation. And you will get a list of main Silicon Valley investment funds that you can start pitching with your idea or your product to your business already tomorrow. So stay with me, stay tuned, and at the end, I will let you know how you can get your present. So a few words about myself and what you can learn from me. I'm Tatiana Indina. I'm an entrepreneur and founder of Mission to Mars Global Accelerator and Indina Consulting Innovation Academy. I'm also a Silicon Valley startup mentor and advisor with over than 15 years of experience working with global entrepreneurs and startups in the United States, in Russia, in Europe, in Asia. I am an affiliated researcher with Harvard Berkman Center for Internet Studies, and I'm an author of CEO 2.0 book about innovative leadership. I can call myself a startup investor matchmaker as I have over than 25,000 connections on my LinkedIn profile. Many of them are Silicon Valley investors. I'm also a transformational coach for startup teams. Altogether, I educated over 3,000 entrepreneurs and corporate leaders from more than 60 countries of the world. So I can say I have a lot of background, and I'm more than happy to share my knowledge with you. And I'm more than happy to help you succeed and get access to the right resources and right people in Silicon Valley. A few words about company Mission to Mars Accelerator. We've been in Silicon Valley for a little bit more than 1 year. It is our birthday, as you know, and it's been a pretty exciting year for us. So we hosted a lot of groups of entrepreneurs here. We organized hundreds of programs, and over 1,000 people attended our innovation events and workshops, both online and on site. So you can see here some of the photographs from our events here in San Francisco Bay Area, and the events that we organized are startup pitch and demo day events, startup startup meetups, startup roadshows, and startup fundraising events. We also provide services on investor introductions, mentoring and advising, legal support to startups. And we also provide pitch training and other sort of education to global startups. Some more pictures. You can see here some of our networking events and some of our expert workshops. Other services for startups and entrepreneurs include business development support and legal support. We help you go to global markets and represent your interests in Silicon Valley. We help you raise funding from local investors and help you get ready for your investment pitches. We also provide online mentoring and online consulting services for startups and definitely all the education that you need, all the support to help you grow and scale globally. So here you can see the list of all the main and the most important investment venture funds in Silicon Valley, angel associations, and just individual angel investors. Of course, not everybody is on this slide. Definitely there are a lot more companies, and we know them all. We work with this community closely, and we help startups get connected with the right investors, and we can introduce you to them, and we want to make sure that your company will succeed in raising funding from those guys. So just keep in mind that as insiders, we can definitely be helpful to your business, and you can benefit from being our friend or being one of our students. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about Silicon Valley trends for startups and what is happening in Silicon Valley today. And this is a graph that you probably have seen already. It just demonstrates the density of a number of those unicorn startups that appeared in Silicon Valley in the recent years. And you can see that so many companies got investment from venture capitalists after Uber, starting from 2013. And you can guess that it is a huge competition that is still going on, as more and more startups come from all over the world to Silicon Valley to take their chances, to raise funding for their businesses, and to become that next Uber. So we can say it is becoming increasingly competitive here in Silicon Valley, and each year it's becoming harder and harder for startups to raise funding because investors are becoming more and more picky. They see a lot of great projects, the best of the best, the rock stars in entrepreneurship from all over the world come here to compete for the same money. And of course, it raises the bar for an average startup to succeed here. At the same time, if you look at the trends in venture capital investment in Silicon Valley in recent years, we can say that the amount of venture capital that is invested in startups is decreasing. You can see it was a peak of investment in 2018, both by number of deals and the value of those deals. But then in 2019, it's already going down. And also we saw the same in 2017. Another trend that we noticed that there were fewer deals made in Silicon Valley, but those were more crystallized, larger investments. And many of them were made in AI, technology, and enterprise solutions. So investors definitely are looking for more promising startups that's going to provide them higher return on investment with more guarantees, because this heated market when a lot of investors were investing in very futuristic technologies, not expecting their money to get back to them, this time is gone. So now investors become more demanding, and they really want to see how your business model works and how your business will be making them money. Definitely, they are prioritizing more scalable projects with bigger markets. And now let's talk about Silicon Valley a little bit in more details. Of course, it is a land of opportunities, but also there is some truths about Silicon Valley that you need to know as well. Many startups come to Silicon Valley because from here, they see that they can launch and grow and scale faster than from anywhere else in the world. by just plugging into all the support system that Silicon Valley has, all the mentors, the advisors, the accelerators, incubators, investors, angel groups. And even though there are a lot of other innovative ecosystems popping up all around the world, in Asia, in Israel, in London, in Dubai, Silicon Valley still remains the #1 ecosystem in the world for technology innovation, just by the number of successful exits of startups and amount of venture capital that is available here. Your company, of course, can grow faster and easier here than anywhere else in the world. This is a truth that is undeniable. So the standard path today for a startup is to start their global expansion, is to come here and to present your idea, to present your company, to raise funding, and then grow globally. Especially if you are in some tech business, that's probably will be the best way for you to become that legendary unicorn that you want to become. And if you want to change the world, this is a place to begin. You probably heard a lot of stories about Silicon Valley, that this is a land of unicorns, of opportunities, where things happen. Many founders have this idealistic vision about Silicon Valley. So they come here and they think that everybody here, all those investors and accelerators are just waiting for them to come. They would immediately start showing all those benefits around, just starting from the moment when you land in the airport. So expectations are pretty high. But sorry, I need to disappoint you guys that this is not exactly how it works here. And I've seen tons of companies coming from very local markets, idea stage startups, very, very early stage startups, without having any market traction or proof of concept, but they have this high expectations to succeed in this place, just because there is a high proportion of those venture funds and angel groups here. And I've also seen a lot of late stage startups that are success stories in their local markets, and they think that all the doors are going to open for them here in Silicon Valley immediately, so they can have super high expectation as well, and they can think that it's easy to raise money here just because it is Silicon Valley. But in fact, guys, reality here is a little bit different. First of all, there is a huge competition between all the companies that are coming here from all over the world that you need to be aware of. And local accelerators and investors are very, very spoiled by all the good companies that they see every day. So they are sometimes behave not in a very supportive way to all of those other companies that are not just good enough for them. You might have heard that there are a lot of support systems here in Bay Area that you can just need to plug into them. And it's all true. There are a lot of startup meetups, there are a lot of communities of entrepreneurs, but also there are a lot of irrelevant events that you can waste a lot of time going and meeting people who just landed in the airport, just like you yesterday, and they're also trying to figure out what to do and where to start. And very rarely you would meet a real investor in those meetups. It can be tricky. You need to exactly know where to invest your time, which events you want to go to, and how to filter out, because there are so many of those events happening in Bay Area, and you really need to be very, very selective. Otherwise, you are risking to waste all your time just going and having a lot of fun, of course, but that you will not move your business any further. And believe me, as an insider, I can tell you it's really hard for foreign entrepreneurs to get your foot in the door of those investors here. It's really even hard to get their response to your email, especially if you are cold emailing to those investors. So imagine those investors receive thousands of emails that they always complain about, and they probably would never answer you if you do not grab their attention in the first 2 seconds that they open your pitch deck. So you really need to have a very, very warm introduction here from somebody who they know and trust. And introductions are not easy to get, because that person who's going to introduce you also have to know you a little bit better to make sure that he's not, or she is not, risking their reputation by introducing you to this investor. There are a lot of tricks and hacks that you need to know. For example, your pitch deck needs to speak the same exact language that this investor understands. There is a very strict format how the pitch deck should look like, and there is a specific format how your email should look like. And those are specific keywords that you need to know and to put in all your messages. And there is very specific way how you need to do your pitch in order to get positive response and traction with investors. And if you are coming from some other place that is outside of Silicon Valley, the only way for you to learn those things is from somebody local. It either spend a lot of time here, meeting a lot of people and learning from them, or making your own mistakes and learning this way. But other than that, having partners like us can be really, really helpful in this situation. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys, that Silicon Valley is a very, very insider circle. It is a very closed circle. It is almost like Illuminati community here that has its own rules, its own standards, its own specific culture and very specific way of communication. And pretty much a startup that is coming from far, far away does not really have many chances to succeed here unless he quickly learns all those tricks and hacks about the insider culture in Silicon Valley to be able to hack his way inside this circle, which means knowing exactly how to prepare your pitch deck for the local format, how exactly and where exactly to catch those investors, what exactly to say, how to speak to them, how to present yourself, how to present your startup, what exactly should be included in those 2-minute presentation that you're gonna make. And even for those events, you need to know which ones to go to and how to get invited to those closed events and to get on those lists in order to meet the right people. As I mentioned, that it will be a lot of networking opportunities, but not each one of them will be a right place for you to be in order to move your company forward. And then there are a lot of requirements for the companies from legal standpoint that your company needs to correspond if you want to implant yourself here in Silicon Valley. And that includes the physical presence of the founder, the company registration, the team structure, and a lot of other small aspects that are really, really meaningful for investment decision making of local VCs. And you guys will tell me that that doesn't scare you really, right? Because, you know, being a startup, sometimes it's just like jumping out from the plane without a parachute and trying to build one on a way. So many of you are used to all this risk, uncertainty, and challenges. But don't you want to make your journey a little bit easier and have a little bit more guarantees about your future? So the standard path for startups today is, of course, to start their global expansion here in Silicon Valley. And many startups come here and they pursue their effort in raising funding from investors. And some of them, if they are not yet ready to go immediately to investors, they would go to an accelerator, and you know, large accelerators here. But what those startups realize very soon is that it's not that easy to get into that accelerator even, because accelerators have very strict criteria and very high selection bar. So only 5% of you will be accepted in those accelerators. Of course, there are a lot of optimistic stories about Silicon Valley, and this is a part of its brand, but the reality is in fact more brutal. That even successful founders with a successful track record, serial entrepreneurs with previous successful exit, will often go to 200 and more investor meetings to raise money from only 7 of them. This is the statistics we know from cases and stories of founders that we work with. And imagine if you're a startup that shows up here first time and nobody knows you and your company is not there yet to meet all those standards, then what chances are you gonna have? If you're looking for investors by yourself, they will never give you money unless they really know you well and they can trust you. And even if you get an introduction from accelerator, investors not necessarily will immediately give you money because your company have to meet so many benchmarks and standards that they have. And you will still at the end not have any guarantee that you're gonna get invested or that your company will gonna succeed. You can also find a lot of consulting companies or brokers in Silicon Valley that's going to introduce you to investors, but they're going to charge you fees and also take equity from your startup. And paying all those expensive fees is something that many of the startups cannot afford. And in order to find investors for your company, you already supposed to have all the connections and the introductions that you need. So you have to spend significant time here in Silicon Valley, which is going to cost you a lot of money because hotels are insanely expensive. And some of you will be flying from faraway places. So there's going to be additional travel costs included, not speaking about all the visa problems that you need to overcome in order to be here. And you have to spend significant time here to build your network, to build all those connections, to establish your reputation, to get all those chances to get funded. Even if you're brilliant and you just show up and go to some amazing pitch event, the magic might happen that investors will come to you after your wonderful pitch, but probably they would want to see who knows you, who worked with you before. They will do their due diligence. There will be a lot of things that they would need to look at before they make this important decision to invest. And you need to be able to navigate all those stages to get to that point of getting that dream funding. And as I mentioned, Silicon Valley is a very, very expensive place today. It has the highest in the world cost of living, and rent is just astronomical numbers that are not affordable for many startups coming from other countries. And imagine how expensive it can be moving here. So maybe you're ready for very radical bootstrapping and living in a garage and just be on a very, very strict diet for many months. I don't think that's going to be very comfortable, and that definitely will not make you the most productive. So you want to have some backup plan when you come here. A great backup plan, of course, would be to become an employee of Google or Apple or Facebook and then get a huge salary that's going to help you support yourself and your startup. But then where are you going to get time to build your company and to devote yourself to that business? Because if you really want to reach milestones and to get results, you really want to focus on what you're doing. Otherwise, your chances to attract external capital are just getting lower. All those challenges are exactly one of the reasons why we see so many founders actually moving out from Silicon Valley today in some other places and moving their teams and relocating their offices to places like Seattle or Texas or Portland or Los Angeles, just because it's cheaper there and it's easier to sustain your operations. And Silicon Valley is becoming a place that is taken by corporations, but by large tech giants like Google, Apple, Facebook, and companies that can afford paying those high rents and high salaries to their employees. If you're one of those lucky guys who raised venture funding, then you probably can afford being in Silicon Valley and living here, and that will be a whole different game and a very different lifestyle for you. But for most of you guys, unfortunately, coming from other environments, other ecosystems, other countries, this path can be really hard and really tricky. And that is why the rate of survival of startups is so low. Only 2-3% of them survive, exactly because of those gigantic challenges that they have to overcome. So the failure rate is just huge. If not all those obstacles, we will definitely see more talented, amazing companies building innovative products. At the slide, you can see Ben Horowitz's phrase about his experience of being a startup CEO. He said, "When I was a startup CEO, I slept like a baby. I woke up every 2 hours and cried." And now you guys, you understand why, because life of a founder is so hard. You have so many responsibilities. You have so much pressure on your shoulders. You need to take care of your team, of your company. You need to bootstrap or you need to raise funding. This is a huge hassle. You need to do all the networking. You need to do all the strategy, the vision. You need to do all the operations. You have to be a brilliant multitasker. You also need to do all this networking and meeting the right people. So it is a lot of stress and it is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of hustle. And definitely Silicon Valley is the most opportunistic, but also the hardest place to be a startup because it is so competitive. So in some of those diagrams, you guys can see that the funnel of survival rate of the startups, and this is CB Insights data, that from round to round of raised funding, more and more startups die. And you can see from 1,027 startup companies, only 9 came to the last 6 rounds, and many of them died somewhere in the middle. Most of them failed to raise a second or third round. So this is a scary statistics to see, isn't it? And then you can also take a look at this funnel of survived companies. In 2010, for example, the rate of survived startups that made successful exit out of this number at the beginning, that was in this case 1,119, only 3% of them made it to the exit stage. All others died in the middle. And in 2017, the statistics became even worse. Only 2% of companies came to the point of exit, and others all died in the middle. And this is out of 1,098 companies. So only 50% of them made it to the second round. This is unfortunate, but also it is true, so that every startup should know and be prepared for. So you can see here top reasons why startups fail. Of course, one of the important ones is a failure to raise funding, but not just that. It can be absence of market need in your product. It can be absence of the right team, ran out of cash, see 29%, then got out-competed by your competitors, wrong pricing for your product, poor quality of the product, wrong business model, poor marketing, wrong customer relations, product mistimed. So there is this product market time window that you really need to catch right. And that's also one of the reasons that your company cannot survive. Then you can see that many of them, they have relationship problems with investors or inside their team, failure to pivot, a lack of passion. Sometimes startups can get demotivated because all those hardships that, of course, are not for everyone. You can also see legal challenges. There are a lot of lawsuits here in Silicon Valley that you need to also be aware of, and do not have the right advisors and mentors, which is really important, and we will speak about it later. And then failure to pivot, and this is something that you will have to do often as a startup. And then imagine you survived this funnel and you made it to round A or round B, but then it does not yet guarantee much, because if you look at this product adoption scale, that not necessarily innovative products that have very promising start will gonna get massive adoption by users later on. Why we don't see so many people driving autonomous cars yet? Because our mindset is not ready yet, right? Probably to trust our lives to a robot who's going to be driving us along the highway. There are many other examples of very promising products that then were gone and nobody remembers about them anymore. Do you remember Pokemon Go? Or why QR codes are not being used as much as they were expected, or Google Glass, or what happened to Periscope. One of the greatest challenges that startups have to face today as well is the competition with corporations, because imagine having all those resources. Corporations can easily outcompete small, even the most disruptive startup, because corporation has all the workforce, innovation labs, all the product divisions, they can hire the best talent, and they have significant resources to throw into the product development, so they can definitely deliver it to market faster and easier. A great example is, of course, Snapchat and Instagram stories. So Snapchat was also promised a great future, but then after Instagram launched stories, so then Snapchat had nothing to do already, and Facebook was able to keep its audience. So now you guys know why so many startups fail, why it is only 10% survival rate and 2% exit rate of those startup companies. And look, my goal is not to discourage you, but to tell you the truth and to get you prepared to those challenges and to actually help you. So what we're going to do about all this, how are we going to hack Silicon Valley? How you still can get access to all those resources without paying ridiculously high price, and also minimizing your chances to fail, but maximizing your chances to going global, to scale, and to raise funding. So it looks like we would definitely need to come up with some insider strategy, a Silicon Valley hacking strategy that would let you break into this insider Silicon Valley circle and have your voice heard and have your product noticed. You have to be fast and savvy and take all possible shortcuts in order to compete in this extremely aggressive competition. And I know what you guys are going to say, that as an entrepreneur, it is our job to figure this thing out and to find a solution, because being an entrepreneur means being able to figure out your way in any circumstances. And I absolutely 100% agree with that. You know, when I first came to Silicon Valley, I was doing exactly that. I was going to all those networking events all day long, to many events, meeting all the people, exploring, learning a lot of things, and also working hard every day. And it took me 3 years of doing just that in order to be able to build my company. So if you don't have extra 3 years to come here and spend all this time and money to talk to everyone, to network your way up in this ecosystem, to get access to all these resources from accelerators, from investors, and learn how to pitch, learn how to talk, learn how to network, then probably you would appreciate little help from somebody who can tell you and share with you how exactly you can do it. Wouldn't that be nice if somebody could just show you the shortcut? If somebody could just introduce you to all the relevant people that your business needs and help you find the right mentor for your startup that's going to make sure you succeed in Silicon Valley and beyond. If somebody would just give you all the templates on how to pitch, how to write emails, how to sign contracts, how to get introductions to all those investors. And wouldn't that be nice if that information would be served to you to exactly where you are, so you don't need to travel here and spend all this time and money to seek for opportunities and find the answers? Wouldn't that be great? So you don't need to come here and go through all this hustle, but just to come here when you know people are already waiting for you and have investors just to write you a check. Wouldn't that be great? If you would just get access to all this knowledge and all these great resources, so you could learn all those things that you need to know beforehand and get prepared. And by the moment you step out from the airplane, you already knew exactly what your game plan is. Wouldn't that maximize your chances to succeed? Because I can guarantee you, with this kind of help, each one of you can easily succeed. Because you know what? Those startups here, they're no better than you. They're not smarter, they're not brighter. They just were luckier to be in the right place in the right time. And that's, in many cases, is the answer. Yes, of course, they worked hard. Yes, of course, they had the right product, the business model, but so did you. It just happened that they got all the right connections and all the right mentors, the right advisors, and got connected to those support systems to help them execute and deliver. And you know, each one of you can build a successful startup because this is such an easy step-by-step methodology. Wouldn't you want to have all those hacks from Silicon Valley so you could just get prepared and build your business to get all this well-deserved global success and recognition? Because, you know, we've seen so many companies coming here and they were brilliant, genius companies and genius founders, but unfortunately they didn't succeed in getting funding or getting accepted by those accelerators or incubators. They didn't have any resources to just bootstrap, so they had to go back. And that is sad because we want more of you succeed. We want to help you. We want to support you. And failing is hard. Now, though Silicon Valley praises the culture of failure, it actually can hurt you. It is hard for your self-esteem. It is hard for your ability to build the next startup. It can take actually many months or even years for you to recover from the failure. And many of the startups, they just give up. They just switch and do something else. So you don't want to fail. Failing costs you a lot. It costs you a lot of sacrifice and losing your money. So imagine if all those mistakes, those thousands of failed startups ever did, you could know those things upfront and you could avoid doing the same mistakes. And you could learn in those mistakes so you could succeed. So imagine if there would be a source of information and resources that you could just plug into and get what you need. That would be very easy, available, and affordable and inexpensive. Wouldn't that save you a bunch of time and nerves and effort? So you would be able to invest that time into actually accomplishing much more in your business and bringing your company to the next level, other than spending this time hustling around, looking for investors, networking with everybody. I don't want you to fail. I don't understand when people say that failure is great, when people praise failure, because failure makes you feel miserable. I've seen so many founders suffering and not getting what they deserve and what they wanted. I've seen people stagnating for years after going through a failure and not being able to launch anything new. And I've seen people giving up on their ideas and their dreams. And I don't want this to happen to you. And I really would love to help you avoid this risk. I would want to help those guys. I would want to open all Silicon Valley secrets to them. They really don't need to buy those expensive plane tickets and come here and knock on every door, hoping to get attention to their idea, competing with a million other founders, living in those garages, taking Uber jobs, or taking corporate jobs that they don't like in order to make money. Because just the passion alone that you have to your business will not necessarily help you succeed. You also need to get funded. So look, guys, of course, Silicon Valley praises its culture of failure and they say it is okay to fail, but don't we all just want to win? Isn't it much better to win? So let me show you how exactly you can win. The easy way to get access to all this great stuff and resources is online and through the insider like myself, who's going to help you navigate your way to your startup success and help you hack Silicon Valley. At Mission to Mars, we want to empower all global entrepreneurs with great ideas, with amazing visions, to provide them equal opportunities to get access to all those resources, to all the mentoring, to all the funding, to give them the knowledge to build the companies so they can learn from the best of the best in Silicon Valley. And they don't need to travel for that, as today's technology already allows us to get all this information online and to get all this knowledge in a very interactive format and still be able to do networking and meet people, but without a necessity to overpay and to spend extra time commuting to get here. And you still will be able to get the feedback on your project and advice from a great mentor, or to build your network of entrepreneurs and fellow innovators here in Silicon Valley who can help your company progress and move forward. And you still will be able to plug in into this supportive peer network of global entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs here in Silicon Valley. And the beautiful thing that this all can be done online, so you don't really need to break into any insider circles. And imagine if you would even come here in person, experts and advisors and mentors would probably not have time to meet each one of you in person, but because it is online and is more scalable format, it allowed them to give more attention to the group of entrepreneurs. And imagine if somebody could connect you online with all those amazing entrepreneurs and founders and experts and mentors and advisors from Silicon Valley and help you build those connections and just use them to get access to this awesome tech innovation knowledge, and just to be able to learn from the experience of those founders and their success stories and also their failure stories, and just be able to get all this knowledge and apply it to your business whenever you are, and just will get your company grow and scale. Wouldn't that be nice and just give you more confidence, empower you, make you more prepared, provide you all the time and assets that you need to hack your way into the global success, even beyond Silicon Valley? Because your company is important and we want to support you. We developed this very special tool that will going to help you hack Silicon Valley. How exactly we can help you to grow and succeed. Are you ready to learn some more secrets from me? Are you excited? So one approach I already told you about is that you will be able to learn from all those startup founders who already made a ton of mistakes and still survived, or maybe they didn't survive, but they still will share with you what exactly was wrong and how to do it right. So that would be a great practical insight for you that you can apply to your business. In the course of the program that we prepared for you, you will be able to follow the steps of those pioneers, innovators of Silicon Valley that already have the arrows in their backs. So you don't need to repeat all those mistakes. So let me just summarize for you some of those insights, some of those secrets that I learned for myself after years working here in Silicon Valley with all the tech companies, all the corporations, all the startups, all the accelerators, all the incubators, innovation labs, universities, etc., etc. I will summarize my insights in the 5 secrets that I'm going to tell in more details right now. So my secret number 1 is, never though they say that Silicon Valley is very open and inviting place that has resources for everyone, in fact, it is a very closed system, an inner circle with its own rules of the game, and you really can't win here if you don't know those insider rules, and you really need somebody local to guide you and help you navigate this landscape in order for you to succeed. And that is why you need to know the smart hacks that's going to help you to get inside of this ecosystem. My secret or insight number 2 is that you don't necessarily need to be here or to come immediately and be present here physically in order to succeed or to get access to all those resources. You can just get Silicon Valley delivered to you and just get all the knowledge and guidelines, all the practices, how to build your global business shared with you by somebody like us who can help you get future ready. And when the moment will come, you can descend to Silicon Valley and scale globally. So the secret number 3 is that the world is big and there are a great number of other innovative ecosystems that you can also plug into. And we will be happy to provide you access to such amazing new emerging innovative ecosystems as China and Southeast Asia. In fact, you can learn from Silicon Valley, but apply this knowledge anywhere else in the world. My secret number 4 is that if your business is not tech business, you still can learn so much from Silicon Valley and you can benefit from all this knowledge and resources. All those best practices about social media marketing and user experience and how to build a great product and how to work with your team and how to build successful company, how to go to market, all those things first originate here, and you definitely can borrow them so your business can benefit from this knowledge. So I highly recommend that even if you're not in a tech business, you're not planning to hack Silicon Valley, still learn some of those best practices and apply them to your business to make it more disruptive and future ready. And we will be super happy to give you all this expertise so you could grow and scale your non-tech business as well. Secret number 5 is that, guys, as I said, those Silicon Valley startups, they are not better than you. They're not smarter, they're not brighter, they're not more genius. They were just luckier because they got access to all those resources, to all those support systems that we are about to give you access as well. So you can have equal opportunities and you can realize your full potential. If they did it, you also can do it. And you will get access to the same resources, same knowledge, same networks, and same support systems because we will open them for you. And the great news, guys, that now you can get all this knowledge, all these resources, all these hacks from me, and you don't need to come here in person to spend your time or to spend extra money to get it. Just imagine how much you could achieve if you only had access to all those resources, to all those amazing mentors, to all the venture capital, to all the angel investment, to all the networks of entrepreneurs and founders and peer innovators who could share their experience with you. Wouldn't that open a whole new opportunity for you? And instead of traveling here, you can just spend your time being more productive, focusing on your business, focusing on your team, on building an amazing product, on delivering, on improving your existing technology, and on changing the world exactly where you are. Because you know, guys, we care, and because we want to help you and help all those global innovators with huge potential to succeed and build awesome companies and make their dreams come true. Every successful startup story a startup that became a big name. It is never a story of individual success. It is always the sum total of all the mentors, all the advisors, all the investors, all the teams that worked with the startups, of all those experiences, getting access to the right information, all the resources, your hard work on yourself and on your company. It is about plugging into the right systems and networks. And I wanted to become the next Elon Musk, the next Mark Zuckerberg, the next Jeff Bezos. I wanted to succeed because if they could do it, you also will do it. Are you ready to start building a better future for you, your team, your family, your country? Are you ready to hack Silicon Valley? So far, I shared with you my insider perspective on Silicon Valley, on the past of the startup, on all the challenges and struggles that startups have. And I hope you got from me some really important insights. But now what you're going to do with all this information? I just want you to understand the reality in order to take the right action. And the only right action will be is just to get access to all this important knowledge, to all this expertise, to all those resources that those other successful companies have. So you could equal your chances to compete with them. You can, of course, choose option, do nothing and just forget all this, and just all this time we spent together today will be wasted, and you will just go back to your old life, to your old habits, having all this understanding and mindset that I shared with you, and you will not dare to claim your leadership in this game. Never though, your company is not worse, is never less important, and it deserves to have equal chances and access to the same knowledge and information that Silicon Valley companies have. So today, you either can make a decision that will open you new horizons, that will open a new future for your company, that can bring you to the new level and level up your game, or you can just skip this opportunity and just miss out. And being in this business for quite a lot, let me tell you, I've seen those both types of founders. First type, it just constantly wants to learn, wants to take every opportunity, want to challenge themselves and challenge the status quo of existing leaders and claim their spot in this game. And other companies who just prefer to be average and not take action and just wait things to happen to them. And with this approach, the world will never probably have a chance to hear their names. But your company deserves better. And that is why you have no other option but just join us and move forward. Because at the end of the day, guys, entrepreneurship is all about taking risks. It is about addressing the challenges, taking your chances, changing things, pushing yourself forward, going out of your comfort zone, creating new vision, building the new future, maximizing your potential to make the world a better place. So now I want to address to you, amazing founder. Just because you're with me today, and because you are so special, and because I believe in you, and I want to have you as a part of my team, I want to invite you to join this very special program and system that Mission to Mars Academy and myself, we prepared for you. Together with us and other amazing founders and experts and advisors and mentors, you will go through 8 weeks of transformative experience to learn how to build, launch, grow, and scale your business. And it will all happen online to make this program the most available, affordable, and comfortable for you to learn from. Welcome to Silicon Valley Hacking Startup Bootcamp, an online program that will help you launch a successful startup, raise funding from Silicon Valley investors, grow your business, and scale it globally.